Assalamu alaikum. How are you today? Load shedding again? South Africa, the decaying country. This load shedding is so typical in Africa. It's happening in South Africa now as well. And on a daily basis, we are without electricity. It's as if nobody's in control. Nobody's doing anything. The government is just stealing. They corrupt. They having a good time. But everybody else is suffering. I mean, people are ending up living on the streets. The business is suffering. It's chaotic. It's decay. Crime is rampant. Right now, the lights are out for just over 2 hours, and it's a Friday night, 8 o'clock till 10 o'clock. The electricity will be off. It'll come on at about 10 past 10. But can you imagine what is going on out there right now? Anyway, today's Friday, it's Juma, so Juma Mubarak to everybody out there. Um, but what I want to talk about today is, again, a Muslim living in a westernized country, especially a Western democracy, and especially one like South Africa. Isn't it sad when somebody who practices humility is laughed at and jeered at by somebody who wants to show how aggressive he can be? Isn't it sick when someone tries to be honest and the next person purposely shows that he will steal or take something or just be dishonest? Isn't it sad when someone tries to be quiet and humble and to go through life passively and someone else shows that they will be a loudmouth and scream and shout and laugh with vulgarity? That is what South African society has become like. Everything and everybody is aggressive. People drive aggressively. There's a lot of hooting. There's a lot of noise and shouting on the streets. It's like the dregs of humanity has taken over. And what's more is that the law is on their side. It's as if, not as if, it is that the government is out to ensure that the ones who are established ratepayers, taxpayers, the law abiding citizens are the ones who have to suffer. That's the situation that we have. The government is not on the side of the people. It's definitely not government by the people for the people. It's chaos. I mean, people can do what they want to with impunity. And just recently, somebody came on TV. I don't even know who he is because I don't watch South African TV at all. But sometimes in the mornings, I have a spare 15, 20 minutes, then I'll just watch the news. And typically, I'll switch it off after 5 or 10 minutes because it's all a lot of nonsense that they talk, all lies. But somebody mentioned that if somebody breaks into your house, this was recently, I mean, it was probably a month ago. He said that if somebody breaks into your house, then you shouldn't do anything to him because there is someone in your house, there is something in your house that that person wants. So you should let him have it. Can you believe that? Can you believe a government official saying that to the citizens of the country? And that is why I say our government is not there for us. Our police force is not there to protect us. The police force around the corner here, they have a board up which says that this premises is protected by some or other security company. The police station. The police station is protected by a security company. In other words, the police are not into security. That's not what they're there for. They can't even protect themselves. So how can they protect us? Are they just there to sign documents? They just come there They use the police vehicles to take their children to school in the morning and pick them up in the afternoons. That's what they're there for. They're not there to catch criminals, definitely not. They're not going to do that. One policeman was on TV to say that he's not going to risk his life because he can get shot. Well, he's right there. He can get shot, but that's his job. It's because he's not doing his job that everybody's walking around just shooting people left, right, and center. And that's what happens every day. A minimum of 20 people get shot dead in South Africa. I'm surprised that they even have those statistics because nobody's really working. I wonder where they get those statistics from. I suppose that if somebody dies, then somewhere there must be a record of them. At least that is still being done. At least bodies are still being buried. But other than that, it's almost as if only the things that has to be done gets done. If they could just leave the body where it lied, then they would do that. Things are really, really in a mess in South Africa. And Muslims are being affected as well. I shudder to think what would happen if one day we as Muslims are called upon to defend ourselves. First of all, more than half the Muslims won't be Muslim. They'll say, no, we're not Muslim because they don't live like Muslims. So it'll be very easy for them to say that they aren't Muslim because there's no loyalty. They wouldn't even dream of fighting and getting killed. There's no loyalty towards a religion. That's the first thing that will happen. We would have to fight against so-called Muslims, the majority of who will be on the other side. Because if you are spineless enough not to stand up for your religion, then you're gonna just go over to the other side because you think that they're gonna win. And we are a small minority. Muslims are a small minority. And in Cape Town, we are a large number, but we are still an overwhelmed minority. But of course, this whole notion of democracy where the majority rules, believe me, the majority does rule. And they are not up to any good. They are not up to any good whatsoever. And that is why there's all criminal activity going on. Because the majority is ruling. And the ones who are supposed to be doing anything, they're not doing anything. And it's unfortunate that in South Africa, the South African mentality is such that it's either apartheid that we had or this democracy that we have now. There's nothing in between. As soon as you talk to somebody about this democracy not working, the first thing they do is they jump down your throat with, so was apartheid right? Well, compared to democracy, it was. Because there were certain things that were bad about apartheid, but most of the things about apartheid was good. And the one main thing was it was about Christianity. It was the Afrikaners' version of Christianity mixed in with apartheid, but it was Christianity. And it was about control. And people need to be controlled. There's no such thing as freedom. Freedom is a myth. People so badly want freedom, and especially women, so badly want freedom so that they can do what they want to. And it doesn't matter that other people are doing things that are detrimental to society. A lot of other people. In fact, for every one person wanting to be free to work or to do or to achieve what he or she wants, there's probably 99 other people wanting to do underhanded, nefarious, and mischievous things. And that's why this democracy that we have in South Africa, it's not working. We're going back to the dark. We're going to live back in the dark ages. We're already doing it. I'm literally sitting in the dark. And why? Because most people don't want to work. They're lazy. They don't want to do anything. So if you give them freedom to do whatever they want to, then they're going to do nothing. And then they're going to steal, or when they get hungry, they feel that they have the right to steal because there are no morals. Being hungry doesn't entitle anybody to steal. No one should say, oh, shame, they're hungry, or it's understandable that you are hungry. It's wrong, full stop. And that is why we need strict laws like Chinese laws or the laws of in the Emirates or in Saudi. That's the kind of laws that we need. That's the kind of government that we need. Take time out and go visit China. Go and visit Dubai. In Dubai, about 90% of the people that you meet in Dubai that are walking around working there in Dubai, they're not Emiratis. They're not from Dubai or Abu Dhabi for that matter, or Ajman or Sharjah. Those are not, they are foreigners. But they obey the law, they're law abiding, they don't steal. You can leave your things lying around, they won't touch it. Why? Yet when they go back to their country, they do all kinds of weird stuff. But in Dubai, they don't want to lose their job. They don't want to lose the fact that any money that they earn is tax free. They don't want to lose the safety and the security, the comfort, the aircon, the luxuries that they have in the Emirates, wherever they are. So that tells you that people must be controlled. People mustn't be allowed to do what they want to. Yes, within limits, but not to do anything that they want to. Whereas in this democracy, it's all about every single thing is negotiable and you must change every single thing. It is a form of insanity, it's madness. It's never worked and it never will work. We are going more and more backwards. Nobody is saying anything. Everybody's leaving. The brain drain's taken place long ago already. And the clever ones, up and coming clever ones, are all leaving. Even black people are leaving because they say it's not safe. So, what does that tell you? South Africa is going to become a failed state. Our economy is already bordering on a rubbish economy. We junk status. Now, I don't know anything about economies, but I don't have to know what that means. It's quite obvious what that means. That's how terrible things have become in South Africa. So we need a lot of dua. Next week in Jummah, please make dua for us, or even tomorrow morning when you wake up, because we need it here in South Africa. Everybody's walking around and ignoring the obvious, but when it gets to the point where everything is really decayed, then maybe people are going to start waking up and doing something. I don't know, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.